Most likely, you'll have to adjust the color or brightness in most of the videos that you create and edit. In fact, if you never have to use color correction while using Premiere Pro, you'll join the ranks of maybe 1 or 2 who were like you and never had to either. In this lesson, we're going to talk about color correction mode, tonal ranges, the waveform monitor, adjusting exposure in clips, applying color correction to clips, and working with lumetri effects. All of the effects that you'll need to correct the color and brightness in your video can be found in the Effects panel. However, to make it easier to access these tools, Premiere Pro also created a special workspace just for the color correction. You can access the color correction workspace by going to Window, Workspace, Color Correction. This workspace can provide 3 different views of your video. You can gang the source monitor and program monitor via the source monitor panel menu. This will show you 2 views of your video that gives you a glimpse of before and after. The program monitor shows you the tonal range view. When you make some adjustments to brightness and contrast, your video gets divided into 3 tonal ranges. These ranges are shadows, midtones, and highlights. There are a few effects in Premiere Pro that can help you adjust these ranges. The 3-way color corrector gives you the ability to adjust each of these ranges. The 3-way color corrector can be found in the Effects panel. As with all effects, drag it to your video and then open the Effects Controls panel. The 3 color wheels let you adjust shadows, midtones, and highlights. The important thing with color correction is deciding what tonal range needs to be adjusted. Then make the adjustment using a Premiere Pro effect. If all tonal ranges need to be adjusted equally, you can use the brightness and contrast effect or the fast color corrector effect. Other effects you can use are the shadow highlight for exposure adjustment, the gamma correction for exposure adjustment, and the 3-way color corrector for color adjustments. To see the tonal ranges in the workspace, apply the Luma Corrector effect. Choose the tonal range output. The waveform monitor can be accessed through the reference monitor. To view the reference monitor, go to Window, Reference Monitor. In the workspace, it can be found on the bottom right-hand side. Click the Settings button in the reference monitor. Select YC Waveform. To configure the waveform monitor, uncheck the Chroma checkbox at the top. Also, uncheck the Setup checkbox. What this will do is set the scope's black level to 0. Next, set intensity to 100% so it's easier to read. You can see both the program monitor and the waveform monitor. In the waveform monitor, you can see the brightness of the pixels and the frame range from 20 to 100 IRE scale. IRE stands for Institute of Radio Engineers. If you had pixels that had values lower than 0 or higher than 100, you would start to lose detail. This is called clipping or crushing. If you want a good exposed shot, you should see the whitest highlights at around 100 IRE. The blackest shadows would be at around 0 IRE. Midtone should be around 70 IRE. In other words, our frame has good exposure. To adjust exposure, you can use the Shadow Highlight effect. To do this, go to the Effects panel. Find the Shadow Highlight effect under Video Effects. Drag the effect to the clip. When the effect is applied, auto amounts are enabled, so the adjustments are made automatically. If you want to adjust the amounts yourself, go to the Effect Controls panel. Uncheck the Auto Amounts box. Adjust the amounts until the highlight, shadows, and midtones are within the proper ranges for good exposure in the clip. If this effect does not give you the results that you need, you can also try the gamma effect. This effect will lighten or darken your clip without changing the shadows or highlights. It changes the brightness level of the midtones. Color correction can either be a really quick process that only takes a matter of minutes, or you can take your sweet time getting everything perfect, and that could take a while. The fast color corrector is ideal for fast correction, whereas the lumetri look takes longer. We'll talk about the lumetri look later. For now, let's talk about other ways to adjust color. The RGB Parade scope lets you see the levels of red, blue, and green in the clip. For example, if a clip is looking blue, you might look at the RGB Parade scope and see that the blue is dominating the red. That would explain the blue look. To view RGB Parade, click the Settings button in the reference monitor. Choose RGB Parade. You can see the levels of red, green, and blue pixels in a clip. However, before you assume there's too much green, for example, please keep in mind the content in the clip. There may be a lot of red in the subject. If you see that a color is dominant over the others and it can't be explained by the color of the subjects, then it's time to use the Fast Color Corrector. To use the Fast Color Corrector, go to the Effects panel. Drag the Fast Color Corrector effect onto your clip. You want to make sure that if you've used another effect for color and brightness, that the Fast Color Corrector appears below these effects in the Effect Controls panel. You can configure the Fast Color Corrector effect in the Effect Controls panel. Speed Grade is Premiere Pro's color grading component. One of the outputs of Speed Grade is LUT, or Lookup Table. LUT contains instructions for adjustments to color and exposure so that you can achieve a certain look. Premiere Pro comes with looks that you can apply or you can create on your own. When you apply a lumetri effect to a video, you're creating a look or a feel. The best way to apply a lumetri effect is to use an adjustment layer to do so. You apply the effects to the layer and the layer is applied over the clips. Any effects you apply to the adjustment layer will affect the clips. To do this, let's start out by creating and adding an adjustment layer. To add an adjustment layer, open the sequence for which you want to add an adjustment layer. Go to the Project panel. On the bottom right-hand side, click the New Item button. Select Adjustment Layer. You'll then see the Adjustment Layer dialog box. If you want to create the adjustment layer using the configuration for the sequence that you selected, click OK. The adjustment layer is then created and added to the Project panel. You can rename it if you want. Next, drag the adjustment layer over the clips. To add a lumetri look, go to the Effects panel. Find the Lumetri Looks folder. Click the triangle to the left of the folder to see the various subfolders and the available looks in those folders. Choose the look you would like. We're choosing Back in the Day. Drag the look to the adjustment layer. The look will be applied to any clips under the adjustment layer.